You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major, or are you?
No.
No? Okay. How do you know that you're a man?
How do I know that I'm? I guess because I got a dick.
All right, welcome back to Real Talk Corners in the building. Got my co-host here, Bella. I was about to say Sabrina. Like,
Bella, Sabrina,
today she's Bella.
right.
Why? Because we always got some shit to say. That's why we're back, and we're gonna watch some shit.
Like one of my favorite colors is blue.
Right. Right.
Like not every girl likes pink. Not every girl likes purple. Not
Right.
every, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
hello.
My favorite color was red. It's still red. And blue is my second color. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's not the very thing that you guys are saying doesn't define us as boys and girls, is the very thing you use to then make a
Say this is
clinical
what a girl
decision,
is.
right? To make a clinical decision about somebody's gender. But it's the same thing you said don't matter, is the same thing you use to matter. Make it make sense, somebody.
How long have you been running the shop here?
25 years.
Wow. Now, you had an incident here a little while ago that went really viral online. Lots of reaction in the public.
Aberdeen Councilwoman Tiesa Meskis confronted owner Don Suker about a sign he posted in his store.
One day I just put the sign up over here, and he came around the corner, and I thought, okay, I recognize him. I says, oh, I recognize you. You're our new city councilman. He says, no, I'm your new city councilwoman. So it was kind of on from there.
You know what? It's bullshit.
No, what you're spouting is bullshit.
No, it's not. Trans women are women, sir. That sign is bullshit.
I've been doing this 25 years. I've never had a problem with anybody, whether they're gay, transsexual, anything.
Now, you're saying councilman, this individual was saying, I'm a woman.
Right.
And you said you're not a woman. How do you know that that person's not a woman?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Well, common sense.
Trans women are women.
Doesn't the science say that if someone identifies as a woman, then they are?
No. Now that's completely bogus. I don't care if you think you're a sheepdog and you come into my store. It don't matter to me. Just don't come in and try to shove that shit down my throat.
If it makes someone feel better, what about their feelings?
I don't give a shit about their feelings. I'm old.
What about the Star Wars universe? Jar Jar Binks, pansexual, do you think? Transgender?
Why would I even care?
If it's his truth.
Well, it ain't true.
You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major, or are you?
No.
No? Okay. How do you know that you're a man?
How do I know that I'm? I guess because I got a dick.
Well, I guess Don isn't overthinking it. He admits he's not a gender studies major, or at the very least, a doctor. Maybe I should go talk to one.
Going across the country.
My name is Michelle Forcier, and I have a medical degree from University of Connecticut, residency, University of Utah Pediatrics, and I've worked for a number of different Planned Parenthoods for 20 years. I do advanced contraception and abortion, as well as gender hormones, and sort of looking at the whole sort of schema of gender, sex, and reproductive justice.
So you've done a lot of work in this field. Could you just start by telling us?
Sure.
At what age can a child first begin to transition into another gender or identify themselves as a gender different from how they were born?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's research and data that show that babies and infants understand differences in gender. Some children figure out their gender really early.
Baby.
And the reason why we say, oh, that's interesting or important is because they're figuring out their gender identity is not necessarily congruent with their sex assigned at birth.
When the doctor sees the penis and says this is a male, has the sex of male, that's a arbitrary distinction.
Telling that family, based on that little penis, that your child is absolutely 100% male identified, no matter what else occurs in their life, that's not correct.
So what is gender affirmation care? You're a big proponent of. If we walk through, a child is sitting down with you, is questioning their gender. What's the gender affirmation process?
Affirmation means that as a pediatrician, as someone who says my job is to provide the best medical care for you, is I need to listen really carefully. And how I put it in words for kids so that they can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity? Where are you right now? And more excitingly, where would you like to be in the future?
Have you ever met a 4-year-old who believes in Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone who believes that a fat man is traveling through the sky on a flying reindeer at lightning speed, coming down his chimney with presents.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is someone who maybe has a tenuous grasp on reality?
They have an appropriate 4-year-old handle on the
Sure.
reality
Agreed.
that's very real for them.
Agreed. But Santa Claus is real for them, but Santa Claus is not actually real.
Yeah, well, but Santa Claus does deliver their Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, but he's not real though.
Okay.
You know, these therapists and these doctors need therapy. Like, they all sound like they got mental health problems.
This is a pediatrician for one. You guys really, please pay attention to where your kids are going. Because that couldn't be my child's pediatrician. You mean to tell me that infants, babies, let's take it back one minute. Babies and infants know their gender.
Right.
What fucking baby, even the genius babies, are running around here talking about I'm not this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even fucking speak.
A baby, come on now. Even a toddler. I mean, after like I said, a baby will say they like you said, a cat or a dog before they say that they not male or female. They don't know the difference.
And it's like this kids have an imagination, and kids are gullible. You could tell them anything and they're gonna fucking believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Just you can be anything you want. Anything.
Exactly. I mean, look at the whole theory with Santa. We told children that there was this big white man with a beard who had reindeers and was in the sky and delivered gifts. And what happened? Children believe that.
Right. For years and years and years. They believe in the Easter bunny. They believe in the fucking tooth fairy. They believe in all that shit.
Exactly.
And a child with that beautiful imagination, you're going to tell me, knows their gender?
Right.
They can just say, I'm so certain that I am not a boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. Yes, we teach them because at a certain age, you have to teach them that you have a penis, how to clean it, a vagina, how to clean it. And you teach them not to let no one touch it and things like that,
Exactly.
But to say that this 3, 4, 5-year-old knows that they're not this, I don't even buy that from someone who's gay. I don't get that, because as a kid, you're just a kid. And when it comes to sexual things, unless someone has taught you or shown you, you would not display it. You would not talk about it because it wouldn't be in your mind about it. You're not going to talk about anything sexual unless you've seen something, unless someone has told you, someone has taught you this. And I love how these same people keep using the assigned at birth.
Yes, I noticed that too.
No, we're not assigned anything. I'm a woman. I have a vagina. I have a uterus. I have ovaries.
Male and female. Real simple.
And if you don't want to be those things, it's fine. You don't have to be. That's why there's gay and lesbians. That's why there's bisexuals and all these other other credentials, nowadays. But it's don't try to force and make us all change life because you don't like who you are. I love being a woman. I
Exactly.
love everything about being a woman. I don't want to change that. And I'm not going to go to the term of being a cis woman just because
Yes.
you guys need to fucking feel better about yourselves. And that's where you go into where he was saying to the old guy, like, you're hurting someone's feelings. Don't you care? And at some point, not to say we want to hurt anybody's feelings, because I don't think you should be mean to anybody about this shit. But on the other side of it is, why does the other person on the other side have to diminish their feelings about it
Exactly.
because so you can feel better about what you're going through? I
Exactly.
can't imagine what someone who's transgender goes through to have to be stuck in a body that you hate. Can't imagine that. I can kind of imagine because I went through places and points of hating my body. And certain things that have happened to me that have had me hate myself. I can kind of get that part, but to be your whole life and fucking hate yourself, I can't understand what it would be. And I do feel there's a point of mental health that needs to come with that. You need some real mental health care behind that hatred to yourself. And then you got people like this that are just affirm. The crazy part about it, when you go to the back end and you start looking up the insurances, this affirming gender care, it couple years ago got covered by the insurances. Now, if I want to go get a bigger ass, you think my insurance is going to cover it?
Mm-mm.
Because I identify as a woman with a big ass.
Right.
So if
Exactly.
I'm not going to get any special treatment and that shit is not going to be covered under my insurance. If I want a boob job because you know what, I've had kids, my boobs ain't perky and I feel like I identify with a 20-year-old boob, is my insurance going to cover it? No, I have to fucking pay out of pocket. Women who get BBLs, they got to pay out of pocket. So what is the difference now where we're allowing people to get surgeries, medications, and all these things to do cosmetic shit? This is cosmetic shit.
It is.
That's what I don't agree with, because somebody is paying out of pocket for the people who have insurance. Your insurance got raised when they added this affirming care to your policies. And that's what people don't realize. It's like, oh, you're going to take away our care. No, do like everybody else. I got to fucking get my 5-6 grand if I want to fucking go get cosmetic surgery, or if I want a liposuction, because man, I want to get this fat removed. Nobody's paying for that shit. I got to out of pocket that. So I'm like, why is it fair because you don't like who you are that your insurance is going to pay? And all you got to do is pay a copay and you can have a whole vaginoplasty.
But that's where now it becomes a thing with the hospitals and the doctors, because now this is a moneymaker.
Oh,
This
hell
is
yeah.
if you have your surgery at my hospital, if I'm the surgeon who does it, that's just like, with the whole theory with the AIDS and cancers, they have them cures out there, but why put the cure out there when the pharmaceuticals are not going to make no money, because these cancer patients and these AIDS patients take multiple pills and it's being paid by these insurance, so these pharmaceuticals are getting the money. It's the same sense. Now insurances are paying for these surgeries. So now, yes, I'm going to offer this. I'm going to convince you to go this way. I'm not going to be honest and tell you what the real risk are, or the fact that maybe at 16, maybe at 21, you're going to be like, no, I want to have children in this, that, and the third. No, I'm not going to tell you those things because I want you to have your surgery here. So now it's sad because now it sounds like manipulation. You're not being honest with these patients. You're things that are life changing for these patients.
And that it is. I'll probably throw in some clips in between all of this, because there's one where actually a hospital, one of their people, and they're talking, they're breaking down how much the surgeries cost and how they're promoting it and things like that. There's a lot of, if you do your research, you guys, you could find the information and see that transgender people are being targeted and they're being used as you're being used as guinea pigs, because this is not something that has long-term studies on any of this shit. So, and then you're being used for these hospitals and doctors to make money off. They're making thousands of dollars. One surgery, 50 grand they can make off of you. That's just the surgery. That's not including the medication, because if you start them young, how they're doing, and we get them before they go in, now we're putting you on puberty blockers for years. Puberty blockers is for your in your teen years to stop puberty, right? Because that's a good fucking idea, right?
Exactly.
Then we're going to start pumping you with the opposite hormone than what you are, a synthetic that's not even a real one, right? So, like me, who's a woman, I have natural estrogen in my body. I also have natural testosterone, but as a woman, I have more estrogen. Same thing as a guy. You have more testosterone naturally. You do have estrogen, but it's not like it's not because you're a man and woman, right?
Exactly.
Now we're going to pump you with these synthetic hormones to try to create the effect of being a man or a woman, right? The same thing of, even though they say it, you know, being a man doesn't make a beard, but every transgender man has a beard and shit, damn near. You know,
Yeah,
you
back
have
to the contradicting stuff, because now
Right.
the trans men are that are transitioning to men. This is exactly what they're doing. They're looking, like you said, having the beard, taking the boobs away, doing so. Now it's like,
Right.
again, contradicting what a man is, contradicting what a female is.
Right. So it's like, no, and then they don't tell them that you will have to take that testosterone or estrogen for the rest of your life. You don't take a couple shots and boom, you're a woman. You will literally be on. So now they have lifers. They got you on medication for the rest of your life. I was a medical assistant for years. And I work with geriatric, which is older men, they're seniors. So a lot of them had a lot of issues, impotence, things like that, with their testosterone being low. We used to give them Lupron. Lupron was a very expensive drug. Most of them couldn't even fucking afford Lupron to be, and it was something we had to inject, they had to come to the office. So this is what they're giving to kids, Lupron and shit like that. So you're telling me that you
They're
got your
not going to
kids.
be long time side effects to this medication.
Oh no, they're already coming out. There was a girl, which you'll hear it coming up in there, a girl who was like 14 after 2 years being on like testosterone. She got osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is something seniors get. You are playing with their genetics and their bone structures like you guys are God. And now you're going to have kids with all of these side effects and their bodies are all fucked up because you guys just want to play God. You want to play scientist. Let's experiment. And the sad part about it is the parents who are going along with this. Again, as an adult, you go be a guinea pig if you want to, just like adults sign up for test studies all the time. They get paid, they make money on them test studies. I know a lot of people who used to do that and go to any, study to make money. That's your business. But now you got a kid, you start doing this in their teens. Can you think of all the money that they're going to make on this kid 20, 30, 40 years? And then the
taking
after
their whole
effect.
childhood away, because I mean, how can a kid have a childhood when they're constantly going to the doctor on medications? We all know medications have side effects. They have mood swings. They change your moods. So now when they're 13 and 14, instead of enjoying life at 13 and 14 and going hanging with their other friends and doing what they do, they're not in the mood to be around anybody. They're probably in pain. They probably have headaches. They're probably can't sleep, all the different side effects that comes with these medications. So now you honestly rob them of their childhood.
Right. And they're not going without any signs or symptoms or effects from these surgeries and things. Like, it's crazy that people who watch that Jazz Jennings, because I actually, there was a girl who was reviewing like the first episode, and it was crazy to me. Just watching the
I
mom and
watched the
stuff.
whole thing.
I really feel like that mom just knew she could make money off her child and went with it, because I don't see how any parent can put their child through what they did with that girl and the testosterone. I mean, the estrogen and all of that stuff with her, and all the surgeries, all of those damn surgeries, because this is not something that you could just do once and that's it. You're going to be doing multiple surgeries. Your shit might
You
close
see
up.
how, I'm not sure if you watched it, but she had gained really a whole lot of weight, a whole lot. She got
The
And
episode I saw, she was young, right? She was like real little. And one of the things that she was crying and upset about was because when she transitioned, the boys that used to be her friends now didn't want to be her friend, right? Because now she's a girl, right? She's portraying as a girl. Now she has these girls that are her friends, but now the boys don't like her because they're like, you're a guy, we don't like you. And the sad part about it is I know we want to be all inclusive, but for a boy to be like, you were just a boy and now you're a girl and now I like you, I don't
Mhm,
like you, I'm not attracted to you. A lot of
mhm,
people who are transgender think that once they get these surgeries they become these other genders, and then so the opposite sex will like them. Well,
mhm,
no, they don't, and you can't force that child to now like you. And I think it's sad that society is trying to pressure children that, oh, you're transphobic if you don't date
mhm.
the trans man or woman.
Exactly.
Wait, what? These are
Right.
kids that are like, wait, you were just a boy and now you're a girl. That's confusing in itself to have these
Mhm,
fucking kids. And then they're not even like, how when you're straight or whatever, you're just automatically attracted to the opposite sex. It's just a
mhm.
natural
Everything.
attraction. When you go against that, it's going to be ill. It's going to be like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so you're trying to force these boys and men to do that, It's like what are we really doing?
And then it goes back to like with her. I know she gained the weight. She wound up getting a eating disorder. She even, and this is the part that it has to be some mental stuff going on. She even to the point where now she was dating a girl. And I noticed that a lot with transgender women, that once they become transgender women, they start dating a female,
Right.
which is no way that you cannot say that is some mental shit.
Well, you're naturally attracted to women because you are a boy, And so now, and then this is the other thing that, because I've seen a lot of where then they're like saying they're trans lesbians, and it's like, that's not a fucking thing.
And
It's
that's
not a
another thing.
thing.
They make up things. Like you said, that's not a thing. Like there's no right. You
You're
just
just a
make
guy that likes a girl.
exactly, if you want to get back to just being simple.
It's
you
like,
and I always said that. I always said I don't get how, as a man, dressed as a man, you
right,
didn't like coochie,
right,
eating coochie. Let me say eating coochie, because now these transgender, they have a coochie, but
right,
they're eating coochie. So you ain't like eating coochie when you was a dude, but you like eating coochie dressed as a girl.
right,
So
right.
there's no way, again, like I said, you cannot say that's the mental shit.
No, it is. It is. It goes into that bracket. And again, you're trying to push this child. And again, a lot of these children, you see them, they're tired. They don't want to do this shit no more. But the parents are now, we got to, and a lot of these parents have their shows like Jasmine, they have their whole show.
Mm-hmm.
They parents ain't gonna lose that fucking money. A lot of these parents are more in it for the money and the fame and all this shit behind it
Mm-hmm.
versus actually caring about your child, because there is no way in hell I could put my child. I seen one clip where the mom was like yelling at her to dilate, and she was like, telling her friends, and the friends were all looking at her like she was crazy. This is the mom, and she was like, because if she don't do it, I'm gonna go in there and do it. Like, wait, what?
I'm worried about like her mental well-being and her dilation. The minute she leaves my house, we have a dilation problem.
That is a concern. When you don't have that watchful eye, they tend to go back to old patterns.
I have woken Jazz out of a dead sleep and taken the dilator and put the lubrication on it and said, here, you take this and you put it in your vagina. If not, I will. But Jazz is bad, even when I'm home once a day. I will be so mad if she goes away to college and that thing seals up. I will wring her neck. Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What the fuck would
But
I
this is
even?
what I'm saying. It takes away from them actually enjoying their
Right.
teenage years, actually enjoying, because this is all they have is doctor's appointments, pills. Their moods are different. They're losing friends. They're like that,
Yeah.
developing eating disorders. You're developing shit. And then let's not forget about the physical stuff you're probably
Right.
developing. So how could you not enjoying life, or
Right.
to look like something, or to because no one was honest enough to let you know that like, I don't know. I just think these therapists and like with the parents, like you said, these parents got to realize that all this is about money. This is
Right.
all about money, and your child's mental health is at risk. Your
Right.
child's physical health is
Right.
at risk. Even with the fact of, even if they are gay, there are
Right.
many gay men and many gay women who
Right.
still have the part they were born with.
Right. And they're fine
But
with it.
exactly, and live a gay life with no
Right.
problem, not
Right.
changing
Right.
their, not cutting it off, not trying to grow, get one, or and
Right.
still and happy and
Right.
and living and being in their truth and those
Yeah.
type of things, like, so without having to do the extreme of medication and this, that, and the third, and
Mhm.
living really happy and
There's a
enjoying life.
there's a lot of them that are even they are now there's a lot of gay and lesbians that are even removing themselves from the movement altogether because they're like, we just can't. There's more letters now added to the shit. And
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them are just like, we just can't with this shit. This is just too much. We're just doing it too much. Because if you notice the way that this is going, now you have pedophiles that are trying to be like, well, if you can accept them for who they are, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
I seen that. Oh,
So now
yes.
let us in, let the pedophile, and that's a whole nother show, you guys. We're gonna talk about
Mm-hmm.
that because again, when you start allowing anybody, and this is a mental health crisis, okay, especially as children. Again, you get to your adult age and you want to do whatever you want to do it. But as
Mm-hmm.
children, you are suffering on a mental health basis. And it really is up to your supposedly therapists and stuff to understand why, not just because today you feel like it. Oh, and we're fluid. So tomorrow I could be a boy. Today I could be a
Mm-hmm.
girl. That shit to me doesn't fly. When you're older and whatever you want to do when you're older, but respect the bathrooms, respect the women's spaces, respect men's spaces. There's some spaces that men don't want women in. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they have them. There's spaces women don't want men in. That's why they have them. Respect that. And it's the people who are trying to push the limit to say, well, I said I'm a man, so let me in. And it's just like,
Exactly.
I'm a woman, let me in. And it's like, no, because now the other part about that is there are people who are pretending that have these long lists of sexual offense that are in women's spaces now. And there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cases. So we can't take that bullshit that no trans people aren't this. No, there's a lot of cases now where women are coming out and you have these men with long rap sheets that are claiming to be women sitting in women's spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at it in their background, it's like, oh shit, we
Yeah,
fucked
they're
up.
gonna use it. They're gonna use it to their advantage. That
Right.
and that's what a lot of them is doing. But like you said, as these therapists and even these parents, when we know I know with the people I have spoken to, because I know a few transgender women, they all have been molested
Right.
as a
Right.
kid, 5 years old, 6 years old.
Right.
For me, as as their therapists and parents, you should be trying to help them heal from that childhood trauma,
Yeah.
because I truly believe, and I'm not no therapist, but I'm just saying, if you can help them heal and they heal from this childhood trauma, their way of feeling and thinking may be totally
Right.
different.
Right. Well, even like me, I have a lot of different modalities that I use far as healing goes. And now I am taking on the psychology part of it and taking on those classes to get the psychology backing. But even with everything that I do, everything is going to the core issue of a person. Every modality is working like, let's go to the core issue. There's always an underlying issue of whatever the person is going to.
I
When you get to
agree.
that core issue, most likely it's going to be molestation. There's a lot of people who don't even remember that they were molested because they were molested at a very young age. So they don't even understand why they've had these feelings, why they've felt, because subconsciously it's been there, but consciously they don't know. So until you get past all of that, just to be some of these people you'll hear, it's like they have 1 or 2 sessions and they're cleared for surgery and shit. They're cleared for blockers. They're cleared for this. You haven't even got to know this patient. So I have to say,
Mhm.
what are you really fucking doing as therapists, as psychologists, as pediatricians who are looking at these kids? You guys just see
Mhm.
a dollar. You see another bonus because
Yep,
y'all don't think these doctors are getting bonuses of these
they
patients.
are.
So, Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire sent one of his producers posing as a man looking to receive gender-affirming care, sent him to the Plume Clinic, which is one of the largest gender clinics in the entire gender healthcare providers in the entire country. And they got a telehealth appointment, meaning he spent 22 minutes talking to a healthcare professional. And after that 22 minutes, was able to get a letter of recommendation to get an oreectomy surgery, which is a surgery to remove your testicles, because he told the worker that he was experiencing gender dysphoria. Groner is the last name of the, she is a clinical social worker. So, and she also advised him that even if he isn't feeling full gender dysphoria, to say that he is, because that's the only way that insurance will cover it. Also, the people at Folks Health, FOLX, another large organization providing gender-affirming care, said the same thing, that it's really important that even if you don't feel like you're fully gender dysphoric, say that you are, so you get the letter of recommendation officially and that it's covered by insurance. The most important thing to them is getting you into the process. You start getting these elective surgeries, start getting the hormones, start spending money is another way to look at it. Now, 22 minutes was the length of the health appointment, telehealth over Zoom. And how much longer do you think it took for the letter to arrive? 3 days. 3 days later, they got a letter of recommendation from the Plume Clinic saying that they strongly advise that this producer, posing as someone that wants gender care, strongly advise that he get his testicles removed because he experiences gender dysphoria. This is all on video too, because it's telehealth. And this, the producer who's posing as the person also told them that he hadn't been experiencing it for longer than 6 months, which according to WPATH, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, who set the standards, and they're the ones that have to approve these surgeries and that make sure that it's up to a certain standard of care. Their standard of care is that you have to experience gender dysphoria for at least 6 months to be considered for surgeries and hormones. And he wasn't, and he was still pushed not just for hormones, but for an elective ball removal. I mean, this is wild. And these places like Plume Health will charge you $150 for a letter of recommendation so you can go get the surgery that you'd like. So if you guys don't believe that there is absolutely room for corruption and fraud, these organizations, Plume operates in 41 states in this country, and Folks operates in 47. That's almost the entire nation. We need to be going through this with a fine-tooth comb. This isn't right. This has become a racket, and it is the gender industrial complex.
Yes, they're getting bonuses. And you're allowing your children to be guinea pigs and be a part of this system where it was like, okay, we don't have enough people on medication. Too many people are getting too many people are doing holistic healing. Too many people are getting well. Too many people are getting off medication. So now what can we do? And it's like the transgender community doesn't feel it's odd that all of a sudden people are backing them, gave you health insurance. You don't think that was odd?
It's just it's another way. I mean, we all know it. It's another way of them making money off of people and off of their mental health.
Right.
Because honestly, if they didn't feel like this and they didn't have these traumas and they didn't have these things, they wouldn't be so easily to manipulate them. That's just like that video we were saying with the dude, girl, whatever. And so easily to manipulate a child when it's when you're telling that child what they want to hear. These therapists and these doctors are telling them what they want to hear. They're giving hope to these children that, you know what I mean? So that's to me a form of manipulation.
And so much more rejection and stuff that these kids go through, because now you're expecting that, voila, this makes me a man or this makes me a girl. And then people are going to reject you now. Your old friends don't want to be around you because they don't know how to be, or, and I get it. Like a lot of people, that's why they're pushing the whole LGBT and everything at school, inclusion and all this. But again, you got people who actually don't believe in it. So for me, I'm all about rights, but I'm about everybody's rights. I'm not about pushing what I believe on anybody. This ain't to convert anybody into what I believe. And I also hold the same respect to the next person. If you say you don't believe in this, I'm not going to argue with you about your belief system. I'm not going to argue about this is your belief system. You have every right to believe in your church, your God, your morals, whatever it is that you believe in. And I think the bad part about society is now we're trying to push and force everybody to fucking believe this shit. And I will never jump on the bandwagon to think this is okay for kids.
Mm-hmm. And not
Never.
at all. Not at all.
Never.
To that child, they are.
When I see a child who, believes in Santa Claus, and then let's say this is a boy and he says, I'm a girl.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who can't distinguish between fantasy and reality. So how could you take that as a reality?
I would say that as a pediatrician and as a parent, I would say how wonderful my 4-year-old and their imagination is.
Aren't kids famous for their active imaginations? Should we really let our children define reality? If I said that I feel a certain way, then obviously you can't tell me I don't feel that way. But just because I feel that way, does that mean that it's true?
I mean, if it's your reality. If it's your reality. It's truly like none of my business.
So we all have our own
Identity.
realities. What if I said, I want you to say that it's true that I'm a woman? Would you say that?
Okay, you're a woman.
I would also say that.
If you want.
Yeah.
I honestly don't care. Like, whatever makes you happy.
What's true to you can be false to me. So like, it's like.
What if I said that it's true? My truth is that you don't exist. Does that mean you no longer exist?
I mean, if that's your truth, sure. I don't. Because
but you do.
Well, I mean, if you're saying that I do, then I do.
Well, but even if I said that you don't, you still do, because we're having this conversation.
I mean, are we?
I think so. I mean, I thought.
That's what you think.
Well, I should have known it would be hard to define reality in Hollywood. I should probably look to the place where truth is the foremost pursuit. The American University.